Today I'm going to make a deceptively delicious plant-based dessert. It is a chocolate mousse pie. This recipe only has 4 ingredients. It is so easy to throw together, and we have tricked many of our friends into thinking that they were eating something much more decadent than what they are actually eating, which it turns out is not all that bad for you when we're talking in the realm of desserts. This recipe is from the Blue Zone's Kitchen recipe book by Dan Buettner. There is a newer one called the Blue Zone's American Kitchen that I borrowed from the library, but this one I own, and I do want to buy the other one. It's literally sitting on my table and I need to return it to the library. But this is such a great cookbook. There is so much good, healthy, plant-based food in here for longevity. And this chocolate mousse pie recipe is just freaking stellar. All it calls for is semi-sweet chocolate chips, silken tofu, 12 ounces, vanilla almond milk. I don't have vanilla almond milk. I have oat milk, so I might just put a little splash of vanilla extract in, and then ready-made graham cracker pie crust. That is all it is. Basically, you blend together, you melt the chocolate, you blend it together with the tofu and the almond milk, you pour it into the crust, and you just put it in the freezer to chill until it's time to eat. You can top it with berries, you can top it with whipped cream. It is so delicious, and like I said, it's tofu. Like, it's not actually that bad for you. The worst part is probably the processed graham cracker crust, honestly, or you know, the chocolate, but in moderation, neither of those things are gonna be that bad for us. And yeah, this is definitely a healthier option. Every once in a while, I try to make something that is a little bit better for me, but tastes just as good as all that other stuff that I love. I haven't made this recipe in a long time because I have not been able to find these 12-ounce packages of silken tofu. They're shelf stable, and my Aldi does not sell these 12-ounce packages, and neither does the local grocery store around the corner. They used to, and that's where I got it originally, but I was at a different sort of like health food grocery store, and I saw them sitting on the shelf, and I bought a few so that I could put them in my pantry. I could have made this using silken tofu that comes in like the bigger block in the refrigerated section, but those are 12 ounces, and it's just like really a pain to separate out the 12 ounces from the did I say 16? Those bigger blocks are 16 ounces, and it's just kind of a pain to have to separate out the 12 ounces from the other 4 ounces, and then what do you do with the other 4 ounces? So I just haven't bought any silken tofu in a while. And I have made it that way before, and it also tasted a little more tofu-y. I don't know why, but when I saw these blocks, I knew that I had to get a few and stick them in my pantry, because this is such a good go-to, simple, easy prep dessert to make. I'm gonna set up a double boiler to get my chocolate melting, and while that is melting, I will empty my tofu and my oat milk into the blender, and once the chocolate is melted, I will add it to the blender and blend all that nice and smooth. Like I mentioned, I only have oat milk, plain original oat milk. I don't know if Aldi sells unsweetened oat milk. That's what I prefer, but this is what Aldi had. And because it calls for vanilla almond milk, I'm just gonna drop a splash of my homemade vanilla extract into here to give it a little bit of vanilla flavor. Okay, as this chocolate melts, I'm going to get all of my other stuff into my blender. This blender was a gift from our wedding registry, and it is one of the things that I use all the time, and I'm so glad that we put it on our list and that somebody bought it for us. We tried to be really intentional about what we put on our registry because we wanted it to be things that we would actually use. I feel like a lot of people put things on their wedding registries like fine china that just sits in a cabinet for years and years and never gets used, or gadgets that they think are cool and that they'll use a lot but they don't really use them. We tried to not do that, and I think we did a pretty good job. The other thing that I got on our wedding registry that has changed my life is my KitchenAid stand mixer. That and the blender were two high value items, and I'm so grateful to our friends and family who honestly got anything for us. We didn't have a traditional wedding. It was only our immediate families who were at our ceremony and celebrated with us, and so the fact that people went out of their way to buy us gifts when they didn't need to was just so kind, and we cannot get over how generous people have been. So all of that to say, it is wonderful to have a high-powered blender, wonderful to have a stand mixer, and they both get so much use. Very grateful. This is starting to melt. I do need to grab a mitt so I don't burn myself. And the final thing I will do to prepare is empty my silken tofu. I need to look at the instructions on how to open the package. Make sure I'm checking on my chocolate. Well, I had a little accident. My oven mitt caught fire. Glad that I noticed that before it burnt my hand off. All right, I think that this is just about done. Done and melted. Turn off my heat and ignore the mess of melted silicone. When I noticed that my mitt had caught fire, I had to hit it against that to put the fire out. Now I'm going to take my melted chocolate and pour it into my blender. Get the lid on and blend until smooth. Quite literally the most beautiful, silky, creamy, chocolate mousse flavored stuff you'll ever eat. So good. The only thing left to do is pour this mixture into my pre-made graham cracker crust. I am gonna scrape down the sides with my spatula because this stuff is too good to waste. Look, I promise you, this is not like, oh, it's good for a healthy dessert. Like, this tastes, oh, so good. I'm covered in chocolate. But basically, I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna put the cover back on it, pop it in the freezer for at least 30 minutes, but I keep it in there for longer. I pull it out a little bit early before I wanna eat it, just so that it's not quite so rock hard. Slice it up and eat it. It is so delicious. Mwah! I'm seriously not gonna waste any of this. Like, I'm eating it with a spoon. It's that good. It's tofu. It's tofu, guys. It's another day. I've got my chocolate mousse pie ready to go. It's quite warm today, and it's a little warm inside my house because I refuse to turn the air conditioning on because it's just too early for that. So a nice cool treat is gonna just, ooh, it's just gonna be so nice. Mmm. Anyone else dance when they eat something really delicious, or is that just me? This is always a winner. So simple, so delicious. It's got tofu. Really, this is a winning recipe. Highly recommend. Fool your partner, fool your kids, fool your friends. Make them guess what the secret ingredient is. They never will. Thanks so much for hanging out with me while I get a little no-bake dessert going on. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you've tried this recipe or how it turns out, who you fooled. I would love to know. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you never miss an upload. I've been uploading videos every Tuesday. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. It's so good.